Hello, and welcome to Ohio Valley Memories. Memories of businesses, restaurants, individuals, and towns. Old ones, current ones, and some that no longer exist.
Everywhere, yeah, I've been everywhere, yeah. Crossed the river there, yeah. Breathe that steel mill air, yeah. Travel, I've had my share, yeah. I've been everywhere.
Who are we and what do we do? Well, we will be doing business owner interviews and town drive-thrus. I grew up in the Ohio Valley, specifically Shadyside, my wife St. Clairsville. We define the Ohio Valley as the Ohio side, Belmont, Jefferson, and Harrison and Monroe counties, and on the West Virginia side, mostly Ohio and Marshall counties, maybe some of Hancock. I've always been fine with chains, and I use them and eat at them, but I love to try to support local businesses. Do you know the faces behind those businesses? Well, we hope to introduce you to them. For 2 years, up until COVID, my wife and I had a food tour business where we walked to about 5 different restaurants and sampled at each one of them and talked to the owner or the manager. Myself and many of the guests thought that was the most interesting part of the tour, the portion speaking to the owners. That interview process of the owner or manager is the plan for this channel. You will hear us talking and asking questions, but the plan is that this channel is not about me or my wife, and we plan to be as invisible as possible so that we can showcase the owners and managers of the businesses. We want to put a smile on the viewer's face when they see one of their favorite establishments appear, or maybe see a location that they will now want to visit. I envision viewers sharing and telling the older generation about this channel to bring back memories and also share with friends that have moved away from the area. If you like the content of this channel, please like, share, and subscribe, and hit that bell so you'll be alerted each time we have new content. The plan is to release content about every other week, maybe more frequently and maybe not as often when life happens to get in our way. We welcome your comments, and I am sure there will be some negative ones, but I hope the viewers will keep this as positive and G-rated as possible. Remember what your mother probably told you. If you don't have something good to say, just don't say anything and scroll on. The background music is not mine, but used by permission of the creators, which are Jeff Smoke Daddy Tappe and his Ohio Valley version of I've Been Everywhere, and other songs are by Steven Moore. Steven's a young man who was in my Boy Scout troop, but dropped out to spend more time with his banjo. He went on to become a very good musician and has been awarded National Banjo Champion multiple times. Songs I'm using are from his album, Just a Little Talk with Myself. So a little bit about myself. I grew up in Shadyside. When I was young, my parents had one car, so we rode the bus to Bellaire to shop, eat, many times on to Wheeling to shop, and also eat lunch. My grandfather worked in Bellaire, and so many times we would meet him for lunch at places like Gula's, the Belmont, the City Restaurant, Dankworth Pharmacy's Counter, and many other places. If in Wheeling, I loved Louie's Hot Dog. My mom usually wanted to take me to Stone and Thomas's Tea Room. Sometimes we ate at J.C. Murphy's Counter. Growing up as a young kid in Shadyside, we had Larry's Pizza, DeCarlo's in Bellaire. As a teenager, as a child also, we had the Dairy Queen in Shadyside, but then it became Buckeye Pizza in Shadyside. Dandy Burger was built, which then became the Pizza Pub. Then DeFelice Brothers Pizza started in Shadyside. In Bellaire, I remember when Burger Chef was built. It was such a big deal at that point in time. I graduated from Shadyside, Belmont Technical College, Wheeling College, and Ohio University. I was a teacher at Belmont College for over 30 years. I'm now employed in the Information Technology Department at JSW Steel in Mingo Junction. For 2 years, my wife and I had Wheeling Food Tours, which was a walking food tour where you tasted and interviewed the owners. We have 2 grown children, both married and live out of the area. We have 1 grandson. I enjoy my family, camping, gardening, local sports, Pittsburgh sports, and I do events with the Nail City Jeep Club. Some of those items are documented on my channel. Hey, Just Dave here. So that's just a little bit about what our plan is and about me. And my wife will also share about herself and her life as a child in the Ohio Valley.
Hi, my name is Becky. I'm Dave's wife. And he brought to me a month or 2 ago about doing this thing, this YouTube channel about the towns in our surrounding areas. And it got me thinking. I grew up in St. Clairsville. St. Clairsville had a lot to offer. And this might be fun. It's been fun remembering. When I was young, my siblings and I would walk down to Memorial Park and go down and pool. We would do that 2 or 3 times a week. And we had a family pass. And we had a lot of fun down there. We met our friends, and that was the thing to do in the summer. I graduated from St. Clairsville High School. During my high school years, we ate at different places. We were allowed to go off campus. And we would go to Dairy Queen or Pizza Rack across the street from the school. Or we would walk up to Home Pizza and get pizza and a soda. And there was a little restaurant named Garda's. And we would go there and sit down and have a burger and a soda and be with our friends. And then when my family would eat out, we would go to Elby's. And that was on Route 40, out by the patrol barracks, up on the hill. And you would sit in your car and you would order from a speaker, and then they would bring the food out to you, to your car, hang this tray on the side of your car, and you would eat in your car. It was a lot of fun. We would order home pizza mostly on Sundays, and we would eat pizza while we watched Disney on TV. And the funny thing is, Disney came on about 9 o'clock. We had to be in bed at 10, so sometimes we didn't get to see the end of the show. But if we were really into it, Mom and Dad would let us stay up a little bit longer. When we went shopping, my mom would take us up to Ben Franklin, also known as the 5 and Dime or 5 and 10, and Azalians. It was a clothing store right there on Main Street. We would stop by at Jeffrey's Drugs and Lou's Pharmacy, and we would get some of the penny candy there. And a lot of times we walked uptown, or Mom would drive, just depending on the day and the weather. We did our grocery shopping at Respects and Case Foodland, but a lot of times we drove down to Hart's Big Bear, and we did our shopping down there. But the one thing about Case that I remember was they had these little buggies with flags on them. That was the first time that we had little buggies, and I remember pushing the little buggy around, and I would always hit my mom in the back of the ankle because I was walking too close. She never liked that. My grandfather owned the Loy's Building Center in St. Clairsville, and we would go down to visit him. Dad would take us kids with him, and my favorite memory around that is when we walked in, Granddad knew that we wanted to play in that Coke machine, and he would give us our coin, and we would go put our coin in, and it had little Coke in little bottles, and you had to make it go through this maze before you could pull it out. Oh, that Coke tasted so good. And Clifford Motor. I don't know if you remember that. It after Clifford Motor, it was a auto place, and it's been a number of places since then. But Clifford Motor, they knew everyone, and all we had to do, Dad would say, "Oh, go on up, and we need gas." And before I got my license, I drove the tractor up. We would put fuel in the tractor, and then in the wagon we would have our cans to fill for the push mower and the rototiller and stuff like that. And they knew my parents so well. All we had to do was say, "Charge it to Terry," and they knew. And weekly or monthly, Dad would go up and pay the bill. Well, when I started driving, I would give Dad the money, and I would get gas there. But it wasn't too long after that I started driving that they closed down. As a preteen, I delivered Times Leader newspaper, and I walked the streets of St. Clairsville and delivered the paper. On payday, I would always go up to the newsstand and treat myself to the newest copy of Teen Beat. Usually the one with Donny Osmond in it. Donny Osmond, Leif Garrett, Tony DeFranco, all those, what do you want to call it? Heartthrobs. There was also a magazine called Heartbeat that I would buy once in a while. And that was my payment for the newspaper, and I would save the rest. I have a lot of memories and stories of St. Clairsville. And as I was talking to people, my mom, my dad, some of my friends, they brought up memories that I have forgotten. There was a photographer, Don Farron, that took pictures all through St. Clairsville. There was a appliance shop in St. Clairsville. There was an old movie theater, and I can't wait to tell you about that. I don't remember the movie theater, but my mom does, and it's going to be fun doing the research on these and talking to the people. I hope you enjoy it as much as I have just remembering. But stay tuned. We're going to be coming to you from a town, and we're going to talk to some people that can that know the history.